reading instructions a little different for our students with Down syndrome. And it can be a strength actually for the population because it's a very visual, it's language, it's speech made visual, right? So it can be a strength if utilized appropriately, if the appropriate strategies and techniques are applied. So we find that the whole word approach initially is necessary. We kind of got away from that with our typical population, but we have a very good way to start is a match select name methodology. So it's taking a word like cat, and you have a word that says cat and a word that says dog, and matching cat with cat, right? That's all. And then eventually there's cat and there's dog. Select. This is the select piece. You select cat. And then eventually you say cat when you see cat and dog. So, and it's also a very important to do like an I do, we do, you do sort of strategy, right? Because individuals with Down syndrome have such a social strength and such a, I don't know, the emotions, they're very sensitive to emotions. So they don't want to disappoint and they don't want to fail. So if we need to model for them initially, we need to give them success and we need to give them wins. We don't want them to learn from their mistakes. Errorless teaching, right? So that's sort of the start to it all. And then, it's important to use these visual approaches, but it's also important that we apply a phonics approach to the whole word piece, right? Like, so a letter to sound correspondence. And this can help too with discriminating and producing sounds. So texts that we use with individuals with Down syndrome, we need to make sure we're not too over their heads or that you will see frustration. They need to be carefully graded, right? Like, you have the A, B, C, D, E, F levels that we use with a lot of guided reading books. But for students with Down syndrome, it needs to be, the jump between A and B can be too large. So we need to make sure that that's not there. Important to use books that are familiar to the student with Down syndrome, familiar pictures, familiar foods, familiar people, simple language, give them a chance they need to be motivated, right? And they need to connect. And sometimes for our individuals with Down syndrome, that motivation piece, really seeing something familiar makes a difference.